Have you ever wondered if your body actually needs help detoxing? Or is this beautiful machine already doing it on its own? Because everywhere you look, there are detox teas, juice cleanses, and supplements all claiming to remove toxins from your body. And some of them make some pretty bold promises. Things like boosting your energy, clearing your skin, or even flushing out harmful substances that have supposedly been building up inside your body for decades. But if we step into the lab and actually look at a real human body, where would those toxins even go? Would they build up in your fat, your blood, your organs, and more importantly, do you have a system designed to get rid of them? Well, yes you do. In fact, you have multiple systems working around the clock to detox your body every single day. So today, with the help of the bodies in the lab, we're going to show you exactly how that works, what toxins even means, and whether or not your body really needs any help from a cleanse or some sort of detox supplement. It's going to be a non-toxic one. So let's jump into this anatomical and physiological awesomeness. The word toxin, or the phrase "that substance is toxic," get thrown around quite a bit, often with very little precision or context. And so before we get to certain organs and talk about detoxifying your body, let's clarify and define what a toxin really is. A toxin is essentially any substance that can cause harm to your body. And those substances can come from outside the body, what we would call exogenous toxins. And this could include things like alcohol, medications, environmental pollutants, or chemicals that you're exposed to. But your body also produces its own waste products, what we would call endogenous toxins. For example, every time your cells produce energy, they generate carbon dioxide as a byproduct, and you need to get rid of that before the levels get too high. When you break down proteins, you produce ammonia, which is actually toxic. So your liver converts it into urea, a much safer compound, before it can be eliminated. Even normal cellular metabolism creates compounds that, if they were allowed to accumulate, could disrupt normal physiological function. And that is a key point with many substances, if they are allowed to accumulate, because toxicity is often dose dependent, meaning that many substances are not inherently harmful at low levels, but can become harmful at higher levels. Even something like water, which you obviously need to survive, can actually become dangerous if consumed in excessive amounts very quickly. And on the other end of the spectrum, substances that are clearly toxic can sometimes be tolerated by the body in small amounts because of the detoxification systems that the body has in place. So one of the most important things to understand is that your body is constantly producing and being exposed to substances that need to be managed and removed. Detoxification is not something that happens occasionally or only with the help of some detox supplement. It's something that is happening continuously every second of every day just to keep you alive. So if your body is constantly producing potentially harmful substances or being exposed to exogenous toxins, how does it actually deal with them? Well, this is where the anatomical and physiological awesomeness comes into play, because instead of relying on a single detox pathway, your body uses multiple organs and systems that each play a specific role in identifying, transforming, and eliminating these substances. So let's start with one of the most important organs in this entire process, the second largest organ in the human body, the liver. The liver acts as kind of a chemical processing plant. When substances travel through the bloodstream and pass through the liver, specialized cells called hepatocytes begin to modify them. This can involve changing the structure of the substance to make it less toxic, but also many toxins are lipid-soluble, which means they can easily cross cell membranes and are harder to eliminate. So the liver converts these substances into more water-soluble forms through a series of enzymatic reactions, making them easier to remove from the body, which we'll get to that part in just a second. But there are two important things we need to consider when it comes to the liver. The first is how quickly a substance gets there. If a substance is ingested through eating or drinking, the blood coming from the digestive tract goes directly to the liver. This is known as first-pass metabolism, and it allows the liver to modify that substance before it can circulate throughout the rest of the body. However, if a substance is absorbed through the lungs, the skin, injected directly into a vein, or even produced within the body itself, it may circulate through multiple tissues before it's first passed through the liver, which means it can potentially have effects on those tissues before the liver has a chance to modify it. The second thing to consider is capacity. The liver relies on a variety of enzymes to process these substances, and while these systems are incredibly effective, they are not unlimited. If exposure is high enough, like with excessive alcohol intake, it can overwhelm these pathways and reduce the liver's ability to keep up. But in a healthy individual, the liver does a very good job at managing these demands and converting substances into forms that can be eliminated. And once that happens, many of these substances are sent to the kidneys. You are actually looking at a frontal section of a real human kidney. And these little organs are constantly filtering your blood, removing water-soluble waste products and excreting them in the urine. Every day, your kidneys filter massive amounts of blood. We're talking on the order of about 180 liters per day. And what makes them so remarkable is that they don't just filter, they selectively reabsorb what your body needs while still allowing waste products and toxins to be eliminated. And this becomes one of your primary ways of getting rid of metabolic waste and many of the substances that were first processed by the liver. But it's also important to note that the kidneys don't always need the liver to step in first. Any substance that is already water soluble can be filtered and excreted by the kidneys directly. And this is a huge step in eliminating toxins from the body. Because if the kidneys aren't functioning properly, waste products and toxins can build up very quickly, which is exactly what we see in individuals who require dialysis. But detoxification doesn't stop there. Your lungs also play a role, one that is often overlooked. Every time you exhale, you're removing carbon dioxide, which is a byproduct of cellular respiration, and this is happening continuously. In fact, you could argue that breathing is one of the most immediate and constant forms of detoxification that your body performs. And your lungs can also eliminate small amounts of other substances as well, like alcohol. And not only does your body take advantage of your lungs as an extra way to get rid of alcohol, but so do law enforcement agencies with alcohol breathalyzer tests. And then we have the skin, which you can see this cool skin dissection that we have right here. And this is where we actually need to be a little bit careful, because this is often exaggerated. Yes, you can eliminate small amounts of certain substances through sweat, but the primary role of sweat glands is thermal regulation, cooling the body, not detoxification. And compared to the liver, kidneys, and lungs, the amount of waste removed through sweat is relatively minimal. So when you hear people say you need to sweat out your toxins, it's often blown out of proportion. You can sweat as much as you want, but it doesn't even come close to the detoxifying capacity of your liver, kidneys, or lungs. Now, I'm assuming that most of you watching this video are interested in your health. So let me quickly show you a tool that can give you incredible insights about your body, and that is the Hume Health Body Pod. One of the mistakes people make when tracking their health is relying on a single number, like body weight, because your weight might go down, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're losing fat. You could be losing muscle or even just water. Like, I've personally lost over 5 pounds during some of my longer runs, which is why I've used the Body Pod to track things like hydration. The Body Pod is a clinical grade body analyzer and not just a bathroom scale. It uses bioelectrical impedance analysis to measure body fat percentage, skeletal muscle mass, hydration levels, and more. But what makes it especially useful is that it shows how those things are distributed throughout your body, like visceral fat versus subcutaneous fat, or how muscle is distributed between your trunk and limbs, and even the difference between right and left sides. And that kind of feedback is incredibly valuable, because when you track these numbers over time, you can actually see whether what you're doing is working, or if you need to make adjustments. It's also about 98% as accurate as a DEXA scan, and when I compared it to lab-based testing, the results were nearly identical. So I've been using it consistently for months now and tracking everything in the app. And as a bonus, it's HSA and FSA eligible. So if you want to learn more about your own body composition beyond just your weight, click the link in the description and use our code TheAnatomyLab, which will be active for the next 7 days, so you can get 20% off. And that discount stacks on top of their current sale of up to 50% off. And now, let's get back to the video. So this brings us to an important question. If your body already has all of these systems in place, do toxins even build up throughout the body in a meaningful way? And the answer is, it depends. In a healthy individual, most of the time, not really. Because as long as your liver is functioning properly, your kidneys are filtering effectively, and your lungs are doing their job, your body is very good at maintaining balance. These systems are constantly working to keep levels of various substances within a safe range. And under normal conditions, they're incredibly effective at doing that. But that doesn't mean a buildup is impossible. There are 2 main situations where you can start to see problems. The first is when the system itself isn't functioning properly. For example, if the liver is damaged, like with this cancerous liver, substances that would normally be modified and cleared can begin to accumulate in the blood. If the kidneys are failing, waste products that should be excreted in the urine can build up, sometimes very quickly. And the second is when the system becomes overwhelmed. Even when your liver and the kidneys are functioning normally, there is still a limit to how much they can process at any given time. And if exposure exceeds their capacity, whether that's from excessive alcohol, certain drugs, or high levels of environmental toxins, you can start to see harmful effects. So it's not that toxins are constantly building up in your body under normal conditions. It's that problems arise when you either impair the system or overload it. And that distinction is really important because many detox products are marketed as if toxin buildup is something that is happening to everyone all the time, when in reality, your body is already doing a very good job at preventing that. So now that we understand how detoxification actually works in the body, let's compare that to some of the more common claims that you'll see, because this is where things can start to get a little misleading. And let's start with juice cleanses. The idea here is that by consuming only juices for a period of time, you can somehow flush out toxins. But when you look at the physiology, there really isn't a mechanism that supports this. Your liver and kidneys don't suddenly become more effective at processing and eliminating substances just because you're drinking juices instead of eating food. Now, that's not to say someone couldn't feel different during a juice cleanse. Changes in caloric intake, hydration, elimination of certain less healthy foods from your diet, or even placebo effects can absolutely influence how someone feels. But that's very different from actually removing toxins from the body. Next are detox teas and supplements that claim to cleanse your liver. But your liver is not something that needs to be cleansed. It's the organ doing the cleansing. And unless a substance is directly affecting liver enzyme activity in a meaningful and clinically relevant way, most of these products are not doing what they claim when it comes to detoxification. And then there's the idea that you can sweat out toxins. Now, as we talked about earlier, only a small amount of certain substances are excreted through the sweat. And so this is not a major detox pathway. And while sweating can absolutely be beneficial, often because it's tied to something like exercise, which has some major health benefits, its primary role is again thermoregulation, not detoxification. So if you don't need to detox your body in the way that many products suggest, is there anything you can do to support these systems? And the answer is yes, but it's probably not what you think, because supporting detoxification is really about supporting the organs that are already doing the work. For example, staying well hydrated helps your kidneys efficiently filter and excrete waste products. Consuming adequate protein supports the liver, especially when it comes to processing and converting certain compounds that need to be modified before they can be eliminated. And nutrition also plays a role here. Certain vitamins and minerals help support the systems involved in detoxification. Some nutrients act as antioxidants, helping to neutralize reactive byproducts of normal metabolism, while others serve as cofactors for the enzyme your liver uses to process various substances. But this doesn't mean you need a special detox supplement. In most cases, getting a balanced diet with adequate nutrients is more than enough to support these processes. Getting enough sleep also helps regulate metabolic processes and supports overall physiological balance, allowing these systems to function the way they're supposed to. And regular physical activity can play a role as well. Not because you're sweating out toxins, but because exercise supports cardiovascular function, circulation, and overall metabolic health. And perhaps most importantly, reducing excessive exposure, whether that's limiting high levels of alcohol, being mindful of certain environmental exposures, or avoiding unnecessary substances that your body has to process. This can significantly reduce the burden placed on these systems in the first place. So instead of trying to force your body to detox, the goal is to create an environment where your body can do what it already does best. Because as we've seen, your body already has highly specialized systems. Your liver, kidneys, lungs, working around the clock to identify, process, and eliminate substances that could cause harm. And when those systems are functioning properly, detoxification isn't something you need to do, it's something your body is already doing.